crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
The penetrator. Come on, look, because I always went the farthest into the target, goddammit. Libya, Tunisia, Lebanon. It was me, pal. I was always first in, last out.
This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to. But it's vulnerable out in the open.
Its blood was on the leaves.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everybody out there, and a big good morning to my co-host this morning on this Thursty Thursday. Welcome back, Pops. How are you doing, brother?
Good morning, my brother. Hail to Valhalla, all of you wonderful people. Greetings and salutations. It's awesome to be back here with Mr. Chaos himself. It's awesome. Thank you much, brother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's out there doing great. It's Thursday. It's almost Friday. Card's coming around the corner, and we're going to be talking about something that actually brought me, Pops, and Ironcaster together, which is the Halo television series, along with 343 Studios, because, yeah, they're in trouble. They're thirsty. And they made a big mistake when they ruined the Master Chief. So let me welcome everybody really quick. Leah Rose, good morning. Psychodorf 9, good morning, my friend. How are you doing? Shockwave, what is up, Shockwave? Good morning. Saw the Flash trailer last night. My thoughts were, meh. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. Shockwave. Gun Bunny, what is up, Gun Bunny? The lady Arwen Avalon is here. Good morning, Arwen. Leia Rose, good morning. The lovely Sherry is here. Good morning, Sherry. Snorted Poops Cuber, my favorite polar bear in YouTube. Larry's here. Project Cambrian. Good morning, my friend. Shellback TJC. How are you doing, brother? Good morning, Sean Estep, Nighthawk. What is up, Matt G? Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Southern Biking. Good morning. Chris Persia, the Wrench of Wrenches, is here. Adega Outlaw. Andrew Broadbent. Good morning, Andrew. How are you doing? Daryl the Derelict. Greetings, program. Good morning. Zombie Box Reviews. What is up, ZBR? He says, Pops. What is up? Good morning, Makini.
Yeah. Awesome.
Good morning, Makini. How are you doing, my friend? Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. We're getting ready for that end of the week. We're almost to Friday. We're almost to the weekend. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody can't wait to get there. All right. So let's talk Halo. Firings at 343 Studios from Microsoft. Microsoft pretty much cleaned house. The head of their IP development department that we're going to take IPs and turn them into movies, television series. She's gone. That's Wolfkill. Kiki's been fired. The head of 343 Studios has been fired. Layoffs at Microsoft are around 10,000. And a good chunk of 343 is gone. Some of that has to do with the Halo series. Some of that has to do with Halo Infinite being such a bomb. But it's not one singular problem. It sounds like singular issue. Go ahead.
I was diving into this, so Loki's figured out he winds me up down the rabbit hole, and then I go. So yeah, this dates back to January when Kiki Wolfkill changed her LinkedIn account. So she was actually fired in January before the 10,000 layoffs. So it sounds like the blood has been dripping from the walls for a minute there. It is a little unclear about what happens to the TV series, but it definitely won't have the chief scissoring hen atop the hill. That's for sure.
Well, and you brought up the Rainbow Master Chief.
Oh yeah, behind the scenes, we're talking about her Twitter page. It's so gosh.
The scissoring hens. We weren't kidding. We're not kidding when we talk about these scissoring hens and we talk about these story groups and these people behind the scenes specifically going, oh my God, it's like ours now. We're going to totally do this with it. And yeah, it's going to be so great. We're not kidding. We're not making fun. We're not kidding. This is what they're doing. This is what these crazy people are doing. Can someone fire Mama Susan? We can try.
Mama Susan doesn't have that kind of boss, so it's a little different. But yeah, because Bonnie Ross got fired in the fall, right? So, and then she was probably protecting Kiki. So they probably had to get through the first of the year for some sort of buyout on the contract or some sort of way of cheating her out of money, because that's how these contracts probably are written. But once Bonnie Ross was out of the way, now Kiki can fall. So yeah, we'll see. Now 10,000 other people are without a job, and this is what I've been saying. We have to have a little bit of hope, but we got to go through the muck, man. It's got to burn down. It has to go. Money has to matter.
And Larry's right here. Halo sold the first Xbox. You didn't have any other reason to buy an Xbox over a PS2 than Halo. Halo sold that console. If you wanted to play Halo, you had to have an Xbox. Everything else was, okay, cool. Well, this is a little different. This looks a little better. And this is a little different here. And everything else was just wallpaper. Halo was the house that built Microsoft Xbox. So absolutely correct here, Larry. And this is how they treat it. They just don't care.
And the Xbox head, what's it? Phil Spencer, I think is his name, right? I think I got that right. Phil Spencer, recently said something about how much he was proud of what they did with Last of Us, right? He was very thrilled with the fan reception, how that everything has gone. And for a noob like me who's done reviews, I have to agree. I think it's a solid show. I like the last episode. It may be rough for gamers. I know there's a lot of changes that have been made, but maybe he also is like, listen, this means that they know how to do it right. So we need to fix my Halo stuff. So maybe he's putting some pressure points on them too, to like, listen, y'all got to figure this out, man. We can't keep going down the same rabbit hole. We're going to fix our end. You guys got to fix your end.
And they have to. This is not a maybe. This is not a possible. They have to. If they want to fix these TV shows, if they want, they have to get rid of these people and get people that are devoted to making good entertainment, not virtue signaling, not Rainbow Master Chief, not any of this other shit. That they have to make good entertainment. These characters were built on being badass, and they've taken that from them. Chief was he was a shadow. He wasn't anything of what he was supposed to be in that show. Chief is having sex with burrito lady, burrito. I can't even remember what the hell we called her. Toxic burrito lady.
She was a wrap. She was a seaweed wrap or something.
Seaweed wrap, yeah, something like that. Yeah, she wore a seaweed wrap around.
Princess burrito and seaweed wrap, and Miss Mullet. Pocket. We may not get Hot Pocket. Miss Mullet. Always wanted a Strawberry Spartan spinoff. She was one of my favorites.
At least she was kind of cute with the whole like innocence of her.
Yeah, she had good intentions. You felt like she was trying. Yeah.
So you had this Spartan that is just she's kind of out there and ditzy, but a badass, and has absolutely no conception of anything but the core. It's like the core is the only thing she knows. So when she starts to learn a little bit more about what's going on, she like dyes her hair and thinks it's like it's weird. But at
that's
least
what I
she
thought was the
innocent.
laughable part. Like you get your consciousness back and you have a ability to think beyond the programming. And your first decision is to put a big strawberry stripe in your hair. That's why she got the name. So I'm like, what the heck is happening? Why is she dyeing her hair?
And it's not even like a good dye either.
No, it's like, terrible.
She walks up and she's got these big eyes and she's like, "Do you like it?" And you're like, I don't want to say no because you'll beat me to death.
Oh, there was a lot of hair product jokes in this show because I think you nicknamed the other one Autumn Sunrise, the one that's like the contrived, the hybrid girl. Like they just, she's Autumn Sunrise. Yeah,
I'll be Autumn Sunrise. Oh, that was Keys and what's her name's daughter.
Yeah.
So in the game and in the books, that never happens. Okay, Keys and her never have a child. They never have this hybrid daughter. The daughter in the show had blonde hair because her mom has blonde hair, and black hair because her dad has black hair. So it's like interwoven and mixed. And anybody who knows anything knows that doesn't happen. I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your hair color is. I don't give a shit about any of that. You don't have like interwoven pure blonde hair with black hair.
Yeah, reddish brown-ish. It was weird. Like Halsey was so badly written because she was just nicknamed Doctor, right? And her little helper was called the Creeper, and it's like they were just so badly written, and you were like, how is this character supposed to be believable that she's the daughter of this pretty much evil scientist, and all her hair was the only thing we ended up talking about. It's like, look, they changed her hair again.
Yeah.
The show was terrible. God, the show was awful. Yeah.
Shaved side hair. Yep. Oh yeah, that's the immediate trope. Okay. Is this a sign that this age of, we're going to take people that have absolutely no experience or very, very little experience in writing television, creating characters. Is this going to start signifying the end of this? Well, we're just going to bring someone in that fits our little checkbox of what they look like and put them in charge of a show. Because that's what's been happening. You've got the studios, you've got these companies, you've got corporate saying, okay, well, if we hire somebody to write for this show, direct for this show, whatever, they have to fit this gender checkbox. They have to fit this racial checkbox. They have to fit this, but they don't give a shit about the quality of their writing. It's been an absolute field day on, well, we're just going to take everybody and we'll see what happens. They're spending billions of dollars. Netflix is spending billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars. Disney's spending billions of dollars and Disney just doesn't care. Paramount spent billions of dollars on these people with no idea whether or not they could hold a series together. And it's not quality. Go ahead.
I want to ask you about this other guy they're bringing back. So I guess Joseph Staten is being brought back to rejoin Xbox. So I guess he left and he went over to kind of work with 343 because of Infinite.
Yeah.
And then they're bringing him back. So is he a good dude? Is he someone that knows what he's doing? Because it sounds like he's been around since the beginning of the Halo stuff.
He's been around since the beginning of the Halo stuff. And if they were to give it to him, just to him, and say, you know what, you make all the decisions, and they didn't interfere with anything he was doing, I'd say you're going to get a good show. But I don't think that can happen. I don't think that's going to happen, and I don't think that can happen. And I don't think he can pull, the Bungie guy. Yes, he's a Bungie guy, Larry. I don't think that he can pull. I don't think he can do a recovery of what's already been done. I think he would have to start over.
Because season 2 was already filming in September. So for all we know, they already had a lot of this in the can. And some of these firings and stuff like that are superficial nonsense anyway. And they're still going to roll out a crappy season 2 because it was already done. I have no idea. I mean, I can't prove that. That's all just theory stuff. It's just I know they were filming in the fall. Trust me, my DMs were blowing up.
Question is, are they going to do any of the SFX, the video effects, any of the CGI? If they don't want to spend the money on it, they just don't spend the money on it and they don't do it. We all saw how bad a lot of that was last year. It was bad.
It was
for anybody who didn't see it. That last episode where Chiefs running through the Covenant and doing, I mean, it was bad. I saw better fan films than this. There was a Peter Jackson prototype thing that he did that got leaked back in the day, where Peter Jackson did a prototype. It's these guys driving around in this Warthog. It was a conceptual video for Microsoft for the movie that they were talking about making. So basically they gave Peter Jackson some money. He did he got some stuff built. He did this 5-minute trailer for what he could do for the movie. It looked absolutely badass. This was almost 2 decades ago. This was after Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
That looked better than what we got at the end of the Halo series. It just sucked. It was horrible.
I wonder how much of this is why this all got delayed for so long. Because as you and I have talked about, this Halo stuff dates back to Spielberg. Like, I mean, it's been at least 10 years, maybe longer, in different hands, having their hands in the pot about trying to develop something. But these people are just so nuts and crazy. I don't know what to expect. And if you guys trust me, if we can save you time, you can at least be entertained by the shenanigans that are going on, is to watch our Halo watch through instead of watching the actual show. Because at least with the nicknames and stuff, you're getting some sort of hybrid of Mystery Science Theater or something like that, if I say so myself. So I
kind of wish we'd done that. I kind of wish we had like been watching and doing a talk through. Me, you, and Iron Kester. You know, hey, put this on, because I did that when I first started. There was some Star Trek episodes I did it with, and honestly, I should have kept doing it. But it was just like hang out with Loki and watch this, and I just, I do my talk and do my talk over of the episode, and you can put it over as like a voiceover track when you were watching it.
Oh, that's not.
We should have done that. We should have done that. We should have done that with Halo.
Maybe we should.
I did that, like I said,
a test run. We each watch something, and then just lay the audio track over something. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if we each watch this hour show, and then we have our audio tracks and responses, and then we just kind of lay it over it and kind of tweak it and modify it, put that out, try it. It's gonna be an interesting experiment. We can make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how it felt. It felt, because I don't even know their characters' names. I'm 100% not joking with you guys. I have to kind of Loki has to prompt me with things like Keys and Halsey and stuff like this. To me, I don't know their names. I really don't know who Strawberry Spartan's real name is. I have no idea who Miss Mullet's real name is. Not Dave Chappelle.
None of them are in the games. None of them are in the games.
Yeah.
So Autumn Sunrise not in the game. She doesn't exist. Keys and Halsey never have a kid. They never date. They never have any. It was a completely professional relationship. When Halsey went after the kids for the Spartan program, Keys was the one who flew her around, and that's why she trusted him with Master Chief, is because she knew him and she trusted him with the project. Not Dave Chappelle didn't exist in the games. Strawberry Spartan didn't exist in the games. None of these people, mullet girl, seaweed wrap, none of these people existed in the game, and they made it all about them. They made the show all about these people that didn't exist in the game, and then gave Chief like a backseat B-roll in the whole thing. He was just kind of there during the adventures of Seaweed Wrap, Strawberry Spartan, and Mullet Girl.
It was like a cosplay because he's just walking around without his helmet on most of the time. Like he never had his helmet on. It was just not Master. It's like we're watching like a cosplay of Halo with this whole other stupid Miss Mullet backstory that basically didn't even matter because it wraps up 2 episodes before the last 2. I mean, like it wraps up by episode 7. Like it doesn't even impact what's actually going to happen in the show. Yeah, it was just such a strange adaptation. And I'm happy that maybe it's a little too late, but heads rolled. That's what I want to see happen. That's what I want to see to bring some change and some improvement to the quality entertainment.
Yeah, and made absolutely no sense, Soul Assassin. So the Miranda Keys that is in the Halo game is not the same Miranda Keys that is in the series. It's a completely different character. And not just because she's black. Anybody out there that is like, oh my God, Loki is so racist. It's not the same character. It is not the same character at all. It is not the same backstory. It is not.
Good point, Chris.
You know very well that cosplay would never remove the helmet. Yeah.
Good point. Very good point.
And that's the first thing they do is make this motherfucker take his helmet off.
Gosh,
like they did Boba Fett. Like they did Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
So there's this fine line between creating something that has meaning for you, the person that is creating it, and then creating something that everyone is waiting for. And no one today is making movies and entertainment that people are waiting for. They're making something for themselves. That's what they were doing. But Boba Fett, it was the exact same thing. Boba Fett was not written and made to enjoy Boba Fett being Boba Fett. This was a growth tale of someone who used to be a stone cold killer and is turned into dancing with Jawas and sand people. It's not Boba Fett.
It was unbearable to endure. Like it was just so hard to watch such a cool character just being demeaned the way it was. And I think because he was so much more of a mysterious character, like we didn't quite know a whole lot about Boba Fett. That was part of the cool mystique. I know there's a lot of there's stuff that they wouldn't treat as canon that's been written about him, whether it be the novels and the comic books, but at least there was still a mystique about him. And then to have it all played out like that, it was brutally awful. I couldn't agree more. And I think I think there is some validity with at least what's being reported and said in some of these interviews is, look, I'm not trying to say The Last of Us is great. I don't know. I don't think I've heard you speak on it, but it's good enough that it makes all this stuff look like tripe.
Okay. So here's my problem. And this is why I have not watched The Last of Us. I have not addressed this. I'll address this since Pops brought this up because people have asked me, are you going to watch The Last of Us? Oh my God, The Last of Us is so good. Last of Us. If you would have told me that The Last Jedi was going to be cack, The Last Jedi would have done what it did. I would have told you you're effing crazy. There's no possible way they would do all this to this wonderful, iconic franchise that everyone loves. If you would have told me 8 years ago that the second Last of Us game, The Last of Us 2, was going to do what it did to Joel, I would have told you you're absolutely insane. There's no way. This is rumor. This is something someone's made up. This is fanfic. There's no way that they're going to do this to Joel. I remember that was one of the very last games that I sat down and played with my dad sitting there hanging out while I was playing it. And he absolutely loved the beginning of that game. He thought he was like, it's like I'm watching a movie. I'm not going to watch that show because I know what's going to happen. It may be exciting now. I feel like Ian Malcolm. I feel like, everybody's like, and then there's trannies, and then there's golf clubs, and then there's beatings of Joel and the death of Joel. All roads lead to Abby. Moons of Madness, right there. Why am I going to put myself through watching Pedro Pascal play Joel? And oh my God, it's so iconic. The role is so him. And put myself through that just to watch him get beat to death by a golf club tranny. Why?
Well, spoiler alert, right? Because I don't know anything about the game. So for me, we can get to that super chat. That's funny, by the way. That's great.
Since you mentioned it, like a bamba, $2 from Shellback TJC. Thank you so very much, Shellback. Like a bamba. This one is just for you, brother. Score!
It's that clip. I forget I'm on the fucking internet sometimes.
Yes!
Like a bamba! Like a bamba! Yeah.
No, never gets old. Never gets old.
So why am I going to play? Why am I going to play through the original game again? Why am I going to play through? And if you want to, that's fine. I'm not going to bust your balls about it. If you want to play The Last of Us and you want to play a Naughty Dog game again, you want to play the updated PS5 version or whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to bust your balls. I don't have anything negative to say about you, whatever. I'm just choosing not to do that. I'm not going to continue to fund a company that shit all over us. I'm not going to promote a show that shit all over the character. I'm not going to do that. So, the only reason why I'm going to watch Picard is because of R&B. And there's a bunch of people that have already said this morning, R&B was right. And yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I'm not going to watch it till tomorrow morning when I get a chance to watch it with whoever shows up in the morning to watch it. So I'm sure there'll be one or two of us there to watch it. But I'm trusting the word of a someone I respect very, very much. Otherwise, Picard would not get a shot. I would not be reviewing it tomorrow. I would not be talking about it. I'd say fuck Paramount and fuck Star Trek. And I had already kind of did that. I don't watch STD. I only watched 1 or 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds. I don't like New Trek. I don't. And I don't want to keep watching it and keep getting upset because all it does is make me angry. And I know Loki angry and Loki yelling can make for a good show. Pops knows that.
Yes, it is entertaining. I agree. However, I want to throw some water on the love for Last of Us because it is okay. It's good, but it's not great. We still have the same problem we've been having, Loki, where everybody wants to keep because the bar is so low for some things, everything else gets elevated way beyond where it really should be within actual scope. Compared to TV and streaming and stuff is a bigger picture. This is okay, but let's not get carried away. This is, there's a whole episode that literally looks like a cast off episode from Walking Dead. There's a whole episode that's derailed into them shoehorning this gay relationship thing into the story that doesn't fit. It messes up the pacing tremendously. So I mean, I try to talk about it as being good, but I'm not out there saying it's great. When it's great, I text this guy. I message this guy. I'm like, this is great.
Yes.
I do.
You should check this out.
Watch Tulsa King, right?
That's right.
It's like, this is great. I think I'm a little worried about it slowing down a little bit, but I think it's great. And Tulsa King
was one of the shining points of 2022. If you haven't watched it yet, check it out.
You should watch it.
Jester's Darth Arlena makes a really good point. And this is something I brought up to Pops and Ironcaster. Red versus Blue, a show where they took the video game pixelated characters and made series out of it. And I'm talking like there were like 15 seasons of good seasons. After that, it got kind of, but some really good characters, really good fleshed out characters. Tell me who didn't love Caboose? I loved Caboose. Caboose was my guy. Caboose is the guy that you're like, Caboose, help her, and he'd end up shooting her. You know, it was like he was very innocent and dumb and always made mistakes. I didn't do it. He's the guy that would be like, Loki did it. It's Loki's fault, even though he shot the chick. You know, Loki did it. It was his fault. He told me to help her. That show had more heart and more love put into it than the Halo television series. The live action series. And I knew Arlena, I love Caboose. I know Caboose is Caboose is iconic. Whoever you loved, whether you love Tucker, Caboose, whoever, Tucker's sister. Oh my God. It didn't matter who you loved. It was a great show. It was a great show. And there was something there for everybody. This shit, no.
Yeah, it was so generic and vanilla. Part of what drove me completely crazy is how cheap everything looked. Like I don't understand. Like we had more props and you could do better set design and like my college theater group than they were able to do on the show at times. It drove me completely out of my mind. It was awful.
Well, word's coming out now. More and more it's coming out. And I know there's a couple of people who can explain this because of the numbers better than I can. That money-wise, that they were in such a rush to get all of this out and onto their streaming platform because everyone knew we've only got this amount of time to get as many shows, as much programming as we can before the money's going to stop. Because everybody was pouring money into the streaming service. So Netflix was doing it, Disney was doing it, Paramount was doing it, HBO was doing it. Everybody was pouring money into their collective streaming services. And it was like the budget limits were off. We're just going to pour money in and we're going to see what we can do. And everyone knew that was going to end. So it was a race to see how many shows can we get out and how fast can we do it. And honestly, if you because of the new the collective for video effects artists, the new
union,
they were put under the gun so much that is why this has happened. Because it's like, no, we want it done yesterday. We want this done yesterday.
I'm not even talking about visual effects. We'll get to his comment. Let me finish my thought real quick if I can.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I'm not even talking about visual effects. I'm talking about like just stage crafting. Like how many scenes were there where you're supposed to be in a lab and everything looks like it was just generically rolled into the room that they didn't. Like we were talking about Dark City. Like Matrix bought these sets. The rooftop set, the one alleyway set, they refurbished them and refashioned them.
Oh yeah, you can straight up do like a side by side comparison of that alley and then where Trinity almost gets hit by the garbage truck, and it's the same. So, it's the exact same alleyway.
So screw you, Paramount. You're liars and frauds that you just didn't want to spend any money or time. I think it's a little bit of both, but it's totally inexcusable that you didn't have anything that you could refashion to make these things look at least a little more believable and lived in or whatever. Before we get to the visual effects problem, just the general scope of their whole scenes where we're like, there was that one where it's supposed to be one of their apartments or something, some sort of room, and it looks like it's I feel like it's in a cheap model home. It was like
Yeah.
this
Oh,
really
yeah.
strange. I'm like, what is this set?
That was
This
Halsey's. That was Halsey's apartment on Earth,
it was
or on
so
that planet
awful.
they were on Reach.
Remember
Yeah.
how it drove us crazy when we started watching Wrath of Khan a few weeks later, and we're like, look at how incredibly intricate everything is in the room, and everything is so beautifully laid out and lived in. It's so believable that this is his house. And after the heels of Halo, it just made me even more angry at Halo. Like,
Well, and that's part of what I was bringing up when I'm bringing up the VFX. If they were that hard on the VFX teams, imagine what they were like on the set crews. We want this done. We want it done yesterday. We need this show out as quickly as possible so we can make another show and another show and another show and another show. Imagine how that all was being compressed and forced out as quickly as possible, because it wasn't just the VFX teams. And if you go to, we've talked a lot about Rust and what happened on the set of Rust. It's not just the television shows that were going through that, because they were getting grants. They were getting free money to do some of this from the government. So every single series they did, they got a free check for every single series. So whether it was a television series, whether it was a movie, whatever it was, like I said, some people can explain the dollars and the math better than I can. But from my understanding, every single thing they were doing, every single movie, every single TV series, they were getting a check from the United States government to cover a lot of it in subsidies because of COVID.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, I said the C word, the coof, whatever. I'm not talking about the disease. I'm talking about the kickbacks
itself. Yeah.
And the kickbacks that Hollywood was getting because of the coof.
Yeah.
So they were getting money for everything they did. Every show, every production. Rust didn't cost anything. It had executive producers that were in charge of it, but it didn't cost them a dime. That is why Alec Baldwin did not want to pay to put the crew up there at the ranch. That's why he didn't want to pay out of pocket, because he wasn't spending anything. That's why he was rushing everyone to do their job. That's why the armor had 2 jobs, and she was only getting paid for one. But she was prop master and she was an armor. But she was still only getting paid for one. This is why she was upset. This is why she was complaining, because they were keeping it to the point where they weren't spending a dime on any of this. That's why the CG looks like shit. It's why it looks like cack in Halo. This is why the sets look bad. This is why the writing's bad, because you can do anything and check off these boxes and go, well, we got a kickback for it. So we don't have to really be dedicated to quality here. All we have to do is get a product out and show that we created a product. If you're looking at your taxes, if you're looking through your taxes, and something any of y'all can ask Mike about, as long as you've got those boxes checked. Oh, well, Loki, why did you spend $700 on this program for your computer? It went towards my company. Oh, well, tax break right there. That's all you have to do. If you used it for your company, if it contributed to your company, and that's why you spent money on it, it's off your taxes. If you are making a show and you're using those tax dollars, that kickback money for your show, so all you have to do is put out a show. It doesn't have to be quality. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be anything. Because what it comes down to, you're getting free money to make something, and you're socially checking off a box and saying, "Look at us. We had an entire females writer room. Look at us. We had an entire female writer room with POCs. Look at us. We did this." These people are not going to get rehired, and they're not going to continue to be used in this industry, because all they were ever brought in for was to check a box off. Why do you think Steven Spielberg went to Tom Cruise the other day and said, "You single-handedly saved theaters and saved Hollywood's ass. You pulled us out of the fire with Top Gun"? Why? Because it wasn't made to check a box. It wasn't made to check a box. It wasn't made to say, "Look at us, we did this." It was made to entertain. And that's what people want.
Agreed. Agreed.
Sorry for going off on a rant. Mahogany Draws with $20 super chat says, from what I heard, that episode had the relationship stray away from what happens in game. And on top of that, it continues to give this impression that every gay relationship has to be this storybook with no problems.
Yeah, it was it's a very simplistic sort of little backstory that they tried to add. And by the way, I know the game has a certain sort of like theme that it centers mostly around Joel and Ellie. Trust me, I've had people in my comments and messaging trying to correct me as the noob I am talking about the show. But from a generic, you step back and try to look at the show, it makes no sense on why we would write off these characters that we spent so much time to create and develop and make the audience interested in. And they self-delete before the end of the episode. So by the time Joel and Ellie get there, they're not there. And it would have been easier to have them go along on the journey for the illness to come to light later and then have those decisions being made. There would have been more emotional impact on the other characters in the audience. But this show didn't do that. And I will admit, they did something very similar with this last episode or episode and a half. But for some reason, this was so much better executed. I'm not even sure I could explain it well on why the Henry Sam stuff seemed like it was executed better with how it was done. But the show doesn't seem interested in keeping creative characters around. They're investing a few minutes in these characters and they kind of move on. And it's very strange. But I've said many times, I've taken my lumps, I'll keep taking it until the gay community realize that they're being treated as a marketing gimmick. This isn't going to change. They're going to have to stand up for themselves and say, stop, just stop exploiting us this way.
No, they're baiting. It's very, very similar to the blaxploitation films in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mahogany Draws, for that $20 super chat, brother. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla, and this one's just for you, brother. Skol!
Thanks, man.
Long live the fighters!
Thank you so very much. Jitsi Lemon, who's been a member for 1 month and is a warrior of Asgard, says, freshly renewed yet again, I yell naked, standing on a stormy shore, and thank my benefactor for making me a warrior of Asgard once more. Roar, roar. Thank you so much, Jitsi, for joining back up to become a warrior of Asgard, brother. Mahogany Draws with the $10 super chat says, so I heard it was only minor changes to Sam and Henry's story in the show, but they kept most of it intact. Pop, Sam and Henry's story and how it ends is one of the hardest things to watch. Seriously.
It was done pretty well. And I have to admit it episode 5 is by far the best episode to date. And the only part I'm having a hard time with is it seems like they're trying to get you invested in characters and then they shed them away faster than you're attached. And that keeps your world kind of small. And maybe that's the video game feel that they're going for, where you're just these two characters wandering through this universe, and that's what we're going to experience. There's different types of threats, whether they be human, or the clickers or whatever it may be. But reality is, for me, the noob in all of this, I enjoy more of the Walking Dead element where you're constantly adding and deleting characters, getting attached and having to deal with the emotional journey of all that. So the show wouldn't be something that I'm going to like as much as some folks do. And I also think if you're going to make radical changes from the game, I don't see the point, because if you're only use the character for a very temporary time, you're just renting them for a few moments, then why make the changes? Just do it like you're doing it and just move on, because there's not a lot of gravitas that needs to come out of each one of these characters.
I absolutely agree. Thank you again for the super chat. Mahogany Draws.
Mahogany.
Kizzy 0975 asks, who's the intended audience of these shows? The scissoring hens that create them and normies that don't know any better. There was a lot more blowback for Halo than a lot of other stuff, because Halo's got a very, very fine audience. The people who watch the show didn't know why they were the normies. They're like, why am I watching this? Most of them tuned out. Paramount tried selling Halo as the most watched series on streaming, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
Absolutely insane. So, and Kizzy, by the way, we've said it multiple times here and other places, for scissoring hens, by scissoring hens. right? That's
right.
literally the thing. And to be honest, it's not just that. I mean, I actually did a review of The Fabelmans, which has been nominated for an Oscar, and I said, look, this is a Steven Spielberg for Steven Spielberg to get praised by Steven Spielberg's friends. It's not a movie for the rest of it. It's so small and generic feeling that when you see it through that lens, you start to go, oh yeah, a whole lot of this crap is just made for the narcissists and the ego stroking and not for a general audience. What a day Halo has made. Wow. A lot of changes.
Machini Draw says, I'll still watch the storyline to Halo 4 from time to time, and it's still great, especially the ending where Cortana can't go home with Chief.
Okay.
For a long time, Halo 3 was the goodbye letter to Halo. And of course, they put the thing at the very end, so you got to watch all the credits. And Master Chief's alive. You think Master Chief's dead, or Cortana's gone, and then at the very end they pull a fast one, and in Halo 4 they find the ship they've been on. Well, Cortana's been on that ship for years and is dying. How can an AI die? There's only so many years that they can live before they develop what is called rampancy, which is a error in their code, and it just keeps getting bigger. They start airing out and they can't stop thinking. So for an AI to constantly be thinking, it basically thinks itself to death.
It makes sense. I mean, listen, it's basically, so as a human with our genetics, right? All the cellular reproduction your body does, and it creates genetic mutations, and then you have all these healing processes. So if you extrapolate that to something as big as a computer program, the fact that some of that would happen make total sense. And by the way, Dean Krantz, I would love to have the only reason I would like Loki to watch some of Last of Us is to see his head pop off at the supposed villain in Last of Us episode 4 and 5, this Kathleen soccer mom, non-intimidating leader of this apocalyptic group. It's so unbelievable, Loki. There's a dude standing next to her who is totally dressed up, man. He's armed to the tilt. He knows the ins and outs of strategy, and he's taking orders from this soccer mom, this angry witch who looks like she's standing in line at a Target customer service line complaining about something in the store, not the leader of a resistance movement. It's so absurd. It really is the worst part of the show to this point, in my opinion.
Then why the hell is it getting praised up and down?
Because she doesn't really matter. Everything around her is what matters. And she's just meant to be this villain. And you're just like, okay, I don't care. And they just, the stuff just keeps happening around her. She's just miscast. It's just like, she's just not the right actress, because they have 2 or 3 other women that are significant and they were all fine in their roles. She's just not the right woman for the job. And it's just really strange. And I will say, I did cheer a lot as episode 5 was allowing things to move on, shall we say.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring this up really quick because it's a conversation I had the other night. So for Valentine's Day, I watched Mad Max and the Road Warrior with Heirs of Chaos, and there's a scene in the Road Warrior, kind of towards the beginning of the movie, where the bad guys pull these 2 people out of the car. One of them is a woman, and they proceed to, do whatever they want with this woman that they pulled out of the car.
Violate her.
Eris was pissed. Why the hell isn't someone doing something? Why the hell is Mel Gibson's character like on this rock above them watching and not doing anything? I said, because he doesn't have any ammo. He's got that gun, but there's no ammo in it. And there's 8 guys down there. And it's not until 7 of those guys leave and there's just 1 guy left that he goes down there and deals with it. But he does go down there and deal with it. You have to understand that this is the way of the world. At this point, anarchy reigns, barbarianism is king, and there is no Karens leading a group of mad dog killers. Yes. Because she's going to be the first target. That is the way things work. I am sorry to tell you, But in an apocalypse, the Karens are going to become extinct. They're going to be the first targets because they don't have any guns. They don't have any way to protect themselves, and anarchy and barbarianism will reign. It will be the strong survives and the weak perish. Not the geeks, not any of this other stuff. This is how it will happen. Ruthless killers will reign. Why? Because they're ruthless killers and the strong survive. This is what anarchy leads to.
This is what we found. I know you don't watch Survivor, so I'll use a Survivor reference. There's a couple seasons of Survivors where there's this nerdy kid named Cochran who does well, and I think he does win at one point. And part of it is he's ruthless. He's a monster. He's pitting people against each other. He's actually manipulating them on like next level stuff. If you can't even at least do that, there's no way to survive in the apocalypse. Like you're not even like manipulative. So this woman, when she's just basically just barking off about killing this kid, there's no way she'd survive moments like that. It just would not happen in an apocalyptic universe. So it kind of takes me out of the moment when I watch shows like this where I'm like, no, that's not going to happen. No, that's not going to happen. And it's just a law of numbers too. We see this. Like I'm glad you brought up the Mad Max. That's a great reference to the law of numbers thing. So many shows, they'll do things and you're like, okay, no, you're not going to be 2 guys taking on 6 in a Mad Max environment. I don't care if you think you have enough ammo and stuff like you better really have a plan and a strategy. And, the Batman and Robin scenario works in comic books, but in like an actual apocalypse, that is not the best strategy to have.
No, because you can't always watch back and you don't know what's going to happen. Yeah.
So I will say, I don't know about the game, so you guys can speak since we've derailed away from Halo a little bit. With Last of Us, do they get smarter? Like, does Joel, because he doesn't seem like into traps and stuff. Like, there's no like. I always liked apocalyptic shows. Like, part of the survival is I'm going to come up with a trap. I'm going to come up with like, if we can lure them into this hallway, we can do this, and therefore we can survive. And we don't really get that either. We just basically just get an incident happens. He survives the other side. Move on to the next scene, next city, next episode, whatever.
Joel's smart in the first game. Yes.
Okay.
There's some I will not deal with the shit in the second game. I don't even act like the second game exists.
That's fine.
But even though I know all roads lead to Abby, no, Joel's put into a very difficult position in the first game in multiple ways. At the very beginning, when all of this goes down and all of this starts, I don't know how much they've shown you, so I don't know.
You don't spoil anything for me because I really wish they would be more. What you do with a show like this, in my opinion, as a writer, because I want to learn more about Joel's trauma of survival of the fittest. I want to learn how Joel is a survival of the fittest. Then give me some nightmares. Have him wake. They're sleeping in some warehouse. And he's having a dream, and it's a flashback sequence of something that's horrific that he either had to do, was done to him, something. Give me that. That's how you develop a character. That's how you make us connect.
That's what you get in the first 5 minutes of the original game.
And we get a little bit of that with the daughter, and we got a little bit of that with the.
Okay, so see, I haven't watched it, so I didn't know.
It's in the 2 minutes in episode 1. Yeah.
In the game, it's his wife and it's his daughter. So his wife and his daughter, all of this, that basically the apocalypse is happening. They don't know what's happening. So it's like, they're in their house, they're having their daughter's in bed, they're doing their thing. And then everything goes crazy. They're trying to get out of the town. They get out of the town. It's a crazy run. And then at the very end, these 2 soldiers show up and scan his wife and his daughter, and they're infected by the mold or whatever it is, and they kill them both right in front of Joel.
Okay.
And Joel has to watch them kill his wife and his daughter.
Okay. Yeah, it's changed. It's changed pretty dramatically, but it's the essence of what happens to Joel is traumatic enough. But reality is, we have 20 years. We need to fill in a gap of a lot. This dude's been through a lot of crap between then and Ellie, for us to know what kind of person he really is. So, and by the way, I want to say, because I know if Arlena is still there, but for anyone like me who's never seen it, it turns out Red versus Blue is on Tubi, just so you guys know. So,
oh heck yeah, check it out. Check it out.
It says 4 seasons of Tubi. Yeah.
Oh, 4 seasons. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so the first five I recommend. The ones after that, so season 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, I think. To me, those are the best seasons. That's when they get into they're using the Halo 3 engine, and yeah. So those are
I don't see those on here. I see 1 through 4. I didn't check Pluto, which, by the way, on Pluto, I realized the on demand has a plethora of stuff to pick from. By the way, that's how I found my Gojira.
They used to be on the Rooster website. I don't know if they still are or not. So you used to be able to watch them for free on Rooster. I got all the Blu-rays, so I eventually I had all the DVDs, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna Blu-ray up, and I upgraded my collection. But yeah, I love those shows. I can watch
Sounds good.
watch over and over and over again. So I laughed my ass off. What do you got? What do you got coming up? We got just a couple minutes.
10, 15, 10, 15, and 12, 15. Nearly every day there's videos. So today's Throwback Thursday. So we start as a throwback. And as I just teased, yes, today is Gojira. I went back. I've watched both the Japanese versions and the American versions of Godzilla. Godzilla Raids Again. Of course, the American King of the Monster and Gigantus. So I got a little take on those kinds of things. Yeah, comic book days. Saturday would be Saturday morning cartoons for Pops. Those are 9 and 9:30 with X-Men animated series and my Batman animated series rewatch and reactions. Then every Sunday at 9, I drop my next What's Your Story, and this week is Ryan Roger Athe, the Machine. He'll be on talking about some of the life lessons and experiences that he got from doing. I think he's over 50 episodes of reality based already, Loki. Can you believe that? It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He used to never want to do live streams.
Yeah, we were behind the scenes and stuff, and when he was with us, and we'd be like, "Come on, dude, it's fine. Just jump in. Look how good.
I don't like to do live streams, Pops and Loki, because my connection.
Yes, and I'm by myself. And what if it doesn't go right? No one's in the chat, and no one's talking with me, and whatever. I'm like, I don't care. Like, what are you talking about? It'll be fine. Yeah. So yeah, I'm great. I'm so happy. So yeah, I always have a lot going on, different days, different weeks, stuff like that. And of course, this week, Talk Hard Tuesday will be UHF, and then the week after will be Cloak and Dagger. So Talk Hard's still trying to find some things that are different. Obviously, we kind of navigated towards UHF because there is no parody. There's very little comedy. One of my big hit take homes from that is not that UHF is this great movie. It's the fact that can Hollywood laugh at itself again? Can they take themselves?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Weird Al, when you watch the show through that lens, you start to realize, okay, he's mocking TV shows. He's mocking game shows. He's mocking the children's show. He's mocking the Rambo. He's mocking. And I think, can Hollywood get to that point? Because let's face it, scary movie franchise is dead. We don't have comedy right now. We don't have parody. We don't have any of this stuff. So
no, we don't. We don't.
I don't know. Anyway, you put in the YouTube /@Pops, you'll find me. So pretty easy stuff.
Zombie Box Review really quick says Carol of The Walking Dead is my favorite character. How she transformed from a victim of a DA to a ruthless killer. That's how you do a character arc right. I think Pops will agree with me on that.
I will agree that if you're going to have like a mother like that survive, that's the best way you're going to have to do it. She has to become the monster to survive and be a reluctant monster and deal with the trauma and, internalize it all. Yeah, it was done well. It was done as well as you can. So I agree. Red snapper. Yes. Very tasty. Yes. I love this show. I love the movie because it's that. When I watched this movie, because it came out opposite Batman 89, so it was a box office flop. For me, it was like, wow, this is a lot of fun, silly goofiness that we needed more of. I'm not saying that it's great, but in hindsight, I'm like, oh man, it's definitely gone to the wayside. People aren't allowed to have fun. Yeah, ZBR, keep rocking it, brother. Keep doing
That's
your thing,
right.
man.
That's right.
Talk hard.
And I was, guys, there was a time when I was doing uploads that I was like, I don't think I could ever do a live stream. And then I did a live stream, and I threw out the notes that I had written down, because I wrote shit down, and I was like, oh my God, I can tell this joke, and I can do this, and I can do this. And I had it all written out, little bullet points, just like Mikey did when he first did a show with me. And I threw all that shit out. I threw it over my shoulder and I said, nope, ain't gonna work, because someone came on and absolutely just set the stage on fire and burned it down. That guy was Abanas. Abanas showed up. I was having trouble getting on, so DC had him on before I did. And Abanas came in and was like, yo, Phantom Menace, let me break it down, yo, and just burned the whole stage down. And people, Abanas, and fireballs were going off in chat and all kinds of shit. It was crazy. And I was like, I am not ready to do this. And I said, screw it. I'm going to throw it away and I'm just going to be me. I'm going to be me and I'm going to just light some shit on fire. And I did. And I had a great time. And I said, screw the uploads and the BS that I've been dealing with, because I'd work on a 10-minute video for like 5 hours and not be happy with it.
That was me, brother. And I would be doing that video work for someone else. So I'm even more frustrated.
Yeah.
Like it was, and then I'm also getting criticized. Like, well, why is I getting views? And you do this one got views. And you're like, okay, I'm done. This is nuts. And then you had a 1 hour show going where I'm spending 4 hours after the fact, or, plus prep time, whatever. And so now we do this, and our script is, pretty small. Like I thought we did pretty good with our script this morning. I thought we stayed right true, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I agree.
It's good, brother.
Okay.
Always
So,
good.
Really quick, Zombie Box Reviews gifted a Loki's Mornings of Mischief membership. Thank you so very much, Chris Persia, for letting me know that. I missed that. ZBR, thank you so very much, man. To the person who got that, congratulations. Welcome to the Viking Horde. This one is just for you and ZBR. Skol! We're getting out of here. Make sure you have your pet spayed or neutered. I'm just kidding. But we are getting out of here. So
buy 9 spatulas. Get the 10th one for just 1 penny. Later, folks.
Oh yeah. Order only $19.99 right now. Oh my God. Yes. Get your second one absolutely free. We do this at the mall too. You might have noticed, hey, you know what? These are $59.99, but I tell you what, you buy one now, I'll give you the second one for free. So really they're $29.99 and you want to sell me two. I didn't say that, kid. Don't be a smartass. Guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. We'll see you guys on the next Mornings of Mischief. Take care, everybody.
Later, folks.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.